When you are tracing and transferring, your goal is to give yourself a general view of what the proportions are. It's not to trace everything, and you're really looking at the shadow shapes so that anything that would help you when it comes time to drawing, you will have a little layout. So, shadow shapes. What exactly are shadow shapes? Shadow shapes are the areas within the shape that has value change. And we've talked about edges, so sharp, crisp edges and soft edges. When you have a crisp edge, go ahead and just really trace out that line, the full shape. So here's an example right there. Or right throughout here. These are all crisp lines. So that's not a problem to go ahead and make sure that you have a sharp line. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. And what I want you to pay attention to as well is so these are all very crisp, sharp shapes. What I also want you to start to pay attention to are the areas where it's a soft gradient. For example, right here, this is a gradient. There's not a sharp line. So when you go in to color that in, you're going to have a darker shade and the tints, and you're going to have to shade in between there. So if I go in and make a really sharp line, then I might draw that sharp line when I color it in. I don't want to do that. So what I always like to do is just like start maybe where it's darker, give myself like almost like a dotted line. So again, this is a crisp, sharp shape that I can draw out. Those are crisp, sharp shapes. The area where it's going to be a little bit more of a gradient, I don't really have to create that line there, but if I do, it's a very thin line that I can transfer. To transfer this onto our paper, what we do is we turn our tracing paper over upside down. This is the side I drew on. I'm turning it upside down, taking the graphite, and on a piece of paper, I'm simply putting a little couple dabs on that. Center this. I'll put one piece of tape. I would avoid putting a ton of tape everywhere. People like to do that because they're worried, but then what happens is it moves or you can't peek. And I always like to peek because then I'm able to figure out whether or not I need to push down harder or not. Once you're complete with transferring that process, you can take this off. You can roll it up and throw it in the garbage. Get it out of sight. This graphite will get everything very messy.